Hey guys!
Welcome back to our channel,
Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books
amongst other things. And we are doing our wrap up. We missed a week, but we're here doing our wrap up and TBR. So let's get into it. All right, so Asia said she was gonna commit to reading. Did you
I
do
kind
that?
of did. I kind of did. Let me grab my book here. Excuse me, y'all. I'm not glam today. Y'all just gonna have to take this natural look and get into it. Okay, so I did. I read 3 books this month. Aren't y'all proud of me? I'm proud of me, so whatever. That's all that matters.
Yep. I'm proud because I was like, she gonna come again with nothing.
Girl,
or started this, then finished this.
I mean, this time I started too, but yeah, I was trying to read this month. I was trying to read, trying to get through them. So you want me to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
So the first book I read for the month of July, wow, this year is going by too fast, is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. So I had started it a little bit by our last wrap up, but I hadn't finished it quite yet. And sorry about the background noise. Have a Zoom little learning environment going on in the background, so excuse him. Okay. Let's talk about what that book is about first. So it is about this woman. She's a single mother, had a divorce, trying to get back into the game a little bit, goes out one night, meets this man, randomly hooks up with him, and then next thing you know, the next day she goes into work and meet your new boss. So she is basically working for the guy she had a random hookup with, and turns out he's married. And later on she bumps into his wife and befriends her. So she's caught in this weird love triangle. And so she knows them from different perspectives from talking to each of them, and really is getting intertwined deeper into their relationship. But from her eyes, something is not quite right about their particular situation, about the couple's marriage. But yeah, it just goes further into this situation, and it's just a psychological thriller. So it's like, ooh, what's gonna happen? What plot twists are gonna come up, and this, that, and the other. So I will say, I got really saucy one night and wrote down a lot of thoughts. I was like, I got thoughts on my heart. So I was like, overall, I actually really enjoyed the book, and I really think I will enjoy the show once I actually watch it. But okay, so I put captivating. It pulls you in, makes you curious about what is about to happen. When it comes to thrillers and suspense, the best ones are plausible a lot of times. This one, when it gets to like the plot twist and what is actually going on with this particular situation, it is not plausible at all. But by the time you get to that, you really don't care. You're like jaw drop. Like, you're like, this is so fake, but this is so good at the same time. So I would say overall, it's like straight entertainment. If you're looking for something that's like, I really want to figure this out, I wouldn't say it's predictable, because there was a major plot twist at the end that I really didn't see coming. But I wouldn't say it's really predictable, because the elements that are thrown in really don't make sense until they do. So I will say it is a good read. It's not like the best thing out there, but I'm not mad I read it. I really enjoyed it. I would say give it a try. It's one of those that's like, this is like so dumb, but it's good. Like, it's not dumb. I've read dumber, but it's not dumb, but I enjoyed it.
The show was good. I'm talking like I watched the whole thing.
You watched that last episode,
and it was so good. That's all I needed to see. Like the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the plot twist at the end was like, what?
Yeah, because she built everything up. She did such a great job of building everything up where you're like, where's this going? But I really want to know where it's going. Like, she pulls you really into the story. So I can imagine that visually and having the show, and like, I'm sure it was done great. So I'm going to watch the show as well. So that was Behind Her Eyes. What you read?
So I read Life After Death by Sister Souljah. It became available, y'all, and I read it.
Okay.
So Life After Death is the sequel basically to Coldest Winter Ever, which follows Winter Santiago, through her whole life and her like gangster family and her just growing up and her. I haven't read that book in years, so I forgot what it's about, but it's basically about like her. It follows her life and how basically like she became who she was, and then she goes to prison at the end. And this book, if y'all haven't read Coldest Winter Ever, it's been out for like 20 years, I feel like. So if I spoiled it, sorry. But in this book, so I kind of wish I would have read Coldest Winter Ever again before I read this, but it's such a long book, and I was like, I'm not doing that. It follows Winter as soon as she gets out of prison. Hold on, because I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. So I'm gonna just say spoiler alert. If you haven't read the book, maybe you might want to skip over this. I'm not sure if this is a spoiler or not, but as soon as she gets out of prison, she is killed, right? So this happens like within the first like couple pages of the book though, so I don't think it's a spoiler. She is killed, and it basically this book follows her through the afterlife, like and it's not what I was expecting at all, you guys. Now the language and the writing style is the same as before. Sister Souljah, she's good at like capturing like, you know, how like urban people talk and how they are and stuff, so it's very much the same in that vein. But it was so weird, you guys, because it's following her through the afterlife, and it's giving me this kind of like moral compass of like Winter, like she's had these kind of like principles her whole life, and it kind of seems like in the afterlife someone, God, whatever, is trying to pull her to like the good side and like teach her like that she needs to basically change her life or change her thought process or whatever. But even in the afterlife, Winter is very like, no, I'm gonna get this money, I'm gonna get to this I'm gonna get to all this stuff, and like I just want to be on top. And that's how she was in The Coldest Winter Ever too. So it was just so weird. It was definitely not what I was expecting, you guys. Like I haven't even rated it because I'm so like have mixed feelings about it. Like I'm not sure what
the point was.
Not even the point, because like I said, I think it was kind of like this thing where she is kind of like battling, but Winter's not even battling. She's very much stuck in her own ways. So I don't know, you guys. Long story short, I don't know. Read the book at your own risk. I would love for you guys to read it and tell me your thoughts and opinions on it and what you got out of it, because I was thoroughly confused all 12 hours of the book, or however long it was. Like I was just like, because it's kind of like she creates a world where they're in, I guess they're in hell, like, or like in the limbo or whatever, and they're trying to like and they're battling, like the dark side and the light side are like battling each other, and Winter she's an animal at one point, and it's a lot going on. Exactly, that's my face listening to it.
Okay.
So, and then Nia Long is narrating it. Well, she's great, but it was just a lot going on. So, yeah, I finally read Life After Death, and it's basically Winter's life after death, like her in the afterlife, and her, I don't know. It was weird, y'all. It was very, very, very weird. So, please, if you read it, give me your opinions in the comments below, because I was thoroughly confused. I'm still not sure. I might have to go back and read it again. So, yeah, that was Coldest Winter Ever. I mean, Life After Death, not Coldest Winter Ever.
All right. So, the next book I read was Blackout by all these authors. So Danielle Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. So they came together and created a collection of short stories, all centered around this blackout that happens in New York City. So it's just basically interlocking stories that center around like Black love. So it might be so one story might go into like these exes that for some reason they have to be drawn together, and they're in the same building when the blackout happens, and then it goes to that one of those people's cousins, and that's a different writer, and they're doing maybe them being obsessed with one of their classmates, but realizing like he's gay. And then another story would go to the, neighbor by a different author. Like, it's just basically like that. So in a way, they all collectively come together and connect. It's just basically like you're just looking at different people around the city that are all coming together for various reasons and know each other for various reasons, but all the stories are handled by all these different authors. Mm-hmm. So that's the best way I can describe it. So I will say I thoroughly enjoyed the concept of the book. I thought it was very neat that they did find a way to connect the stories. They all had a central theme that they were working with. So the Blackout and Black love, or Black Black young love, let me specify, because it's young adult. And just the situations were very realistic and very kind of diverse as well, because you have, not just your standard Black young love, you have, some LGBTQ themes, you have just various things that are brought up that gives you a broader perspective. So I really enjoyed that about it. I also like that I got an opportunity to be introduced to some of these authors I wasn't as familiar with. Like, I had heard most of their names, if not all of their names, but I hadn't read all their works. So I really am intrigued to go deeper. I think Nick Stone was one of the authors I was really curious about. I always want to read Dear Martin, Dear Justice, her whole collection of work, and just, I don't know why I never got to it, but I was just really intrigued by her writing. Tiffany D. Jackson, I'm already familiar with her, and it was very much her style. So yeah, just an opportunity to see something new. And then it just captured all their styles in an odd way, because it was like you were reading a continuous book, but it just felt different. You got a different vibe from each story. So I really enjoyed Blackout. I would highly recommend it. A cute little fun, quick summer read. So boom, do it. All right, so what you read?
Okay, so next book that I read was Transcendent Kingdom by Gyasi. Happy saying her name. Yay, aren't y'all proud of me? Finally,
right.
I read the book. So I finally read that book, and it was really good. It follows, what's her name?
I read the main character. I read that so long ago.
What's her name? It's not coming to me right now. Okay. So yeah, I forget what her name was, but it basically follows a young lady who is of Nigerian descent. Mm-hmm. Don't give me the lion. But so her family lives in, like, I don't know. But okay, so it follows her.
Is it Texas? See, you like just finished.
Like, I want to say it's like Kansas.
Let me go back to my notes. They do live in Alabama, I think.
So they live in Alabama
because it's racist as well.
Yeah, it just follows her mom, and her brother.
That goes so far back, girl.
Basically, it follows like her journey from. That's all you wrote. My nose. It follows her journey from when she was a child, dealing with her brother's addiction, and how it affected her mom and her life, and it follows her until she's an adult and she becomes a research. She basically, her brother's addiction is the reason why she goes into the field that she's in, and she's like a research.
She researches addiction.
She researches
she's
addiction,
a scientist,
like with mice and stuff. So it just follows her life, and it's kind of like a gloomy story, a little sad, I feel like, because is that spoiler that her brother passes? Kristen talked about this book already anyway, so y'all should know. But her brother passes, and it just really affects her life and how her, and her relationship with her mom, and her mom goes into depression. So it just follows that story, and it's really good. Like, I felt like the ending was really, I don't want to say realistic, but it was kind of like, it gave you like a little glimmer of hope, like everything was going to be okay with her and her mom, because they were still pushing, but her mom was still really dealing with, I guess, the death of her brother, well, her son, and the main character's brother. And it was good. I enjoyed it. I really enjoy Gyasi's writing. I can't wait to read Homegoing. Kristen, I wish I had that book too, but Kristen said I should read this one first because it's a little more lighthearted, which is not that lighthearted. So
yes, it was heavy.
So I'm like, I wonder what Homegoing is going to be given. But I did enjoy Transcendent Kingdom. I feel like it was a realistic account of people who deal with family members that go through addiction and how they have those complicated feelings of, not wanting to deal with them anymore because they're going through this, and then also feeling like the guilt because they can't help them, and feeling like they want that person to just go away, but also not giving up on a person because that is your family and your loved one. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I finally read it.
About time.
I know. So it was a really good book. I'm glad that I read it. I would give it 5 stars. I was about to say 4. But
I was about to
5 stars.
say, don't
Because it was
offend
good.
us.
No,
Don't
it was really
offend
good.
us.
It was, and it was great writing too.
I act like I'm done. Hold on, let me get my notes back out. So the next book that I read was Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. So, I just put.
Was it good like that?
Okay, that's debatable. It's debatable. I'm sure some people didn't like it. Some people enjoyed it thoroughly.
Yeah.
This person right here wrote under my notes, this lady can write. So
wow, not this lady can write.
So I did not know what Malibu Rising was about before picking it up. I just saw Taylor Jenkins Reid. Boom, sign me up. Yes, ma'am. Come on. So I got that through my Audible, and pretty much it centers around 4 siblings, the Rivera family, and just it's a lot of things in the book. So it centers around 4 siblings on this night where they throw this annual party in Malibu. By the end of the night, the house is on fire and you don't know why. So it's like,
it's giving little fires over here.
A little bit. So parts of the story is the events leading up to the party and the events at the party. But it also has aspects of these siblings all have like secrets or things that they've been kind of keeping to themselves or keeping from their family, and somehow, some way is going to come out that same night. But the story is also layered with their upbringing and their background and how they became to be who they are. Their father was a famous singer, or is a famous in the events of story set in the early 80s. So he's a famous singer from like the 60s, 70s. And pretty much
love to take back from the old times.
Right.
She does.
And so the story is also layered with their parents, like kind of story and how they came to be and how they came to be as a family. So it's like a lot of things happening in this book. But when I tell you, I was fully invested in everything she was giving me, Miss Taylor Jenkins Reid. I was like, yes, press play, press play, press play. It's like many stories within a story all come together. Like you didn't know where to look, but it was like great. It wasn't like too overwhelming where it was confusing. She wrote it in a seamless way where you're able to follow along. So think like the style of it, because she switches up the style most of her books. So the style was more so kind of similar to Evelyn Hugo.
Okay.
In that it's this current story going on, but it's also goes back and forth. So it's kind of like that in a way. But the current story is more so the center of the events, whereas in Evelyn Hugo, the current story, she kind of just checked back in, but the primary story was in the past. So it's kind of like a balance of both within this particular book. But I would say I thoroughly enjoyed it. I saw some people talk about just like this melodrama of this family who shouldn't really have these quote unquote issues, but issues are real.
Right. Everybody has issues.
Like everybody has issues, whatever. And for all purposes' sake, she really did a great job of explaining the psyche behind these characters, really explaining the situations they in that would make them be the people they are, and how they're handling and dealing with their stress and drama. So I think overall, I really, 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 really thoroughly enjoyed the book. I would highly recommend it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm just a bandwagoner on Miss Reid's buzz, but I'm happy to be here. Hey y'all, high five. So yeah, that was Malibu Rising. It was thumbs up, 2 thumbs up.
So last book I read for the month is another Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know, I'm catching up on all the books, y'all. So, and that's Daisy Jones and the Six. Finally got into that.
I have that book, the physical book.
The physical book?
I found it at Goodwill.
I think you did tell me that. We need to go to Goodwill. I need to buy some new books. But anyway, so Daisy and the Six is about Daisy and the 6 members of her clans. And basically, it's kind of like it's written as an account told from all the band members' perspectives, and basically like it's taken, I guess it's in the time of now, but they're talking about how their band came together and how all the experiences they had, like in this, I want to say 60s, 70s, whatever that was. So it's kind of like them telling like a story of like basically how they formed and all the crazy things that happened. I enjoyed the book. Daisy, I feel like her character, even though it's called Daisy Jones and the Six, she kind of was almost like a background character. For a little bit, because like there's so many other characters and you get to know their story, and I feel like in the beginning you're getting more because Daisy's like, I think she's like the youngest member. It starts off like when she is that true, or am I making that up? I just know that she's one artist, and the Six is another artist or a band later. So they are 2 separate entities, but the book kind of they come together, and the book kind of goes into that strife and that struggling together. But that coming together. So she's not really the lead woman, right? But she's that's part of the story, like how media made her to be the lead, right, and all the band members. And I really enjoyed the story between, what's his name, the band member that was married, and he got married early on, the one that was an addict. And then like she girl, y'all should have read it by now. I'm talking like I just read it. But like how she basically, like, they were young and he like really loved the girl, and he met her like while they were on tour. Well, you know, they were just starting out and getting their little gigs and stuff. And of course they were young, and it's the 60s, 70s, they drinking, drugging, doing all this debauchery and stuff. So he was having a hard time getting a handle on like being in a relationship, but she kind of gave him an ultimatum, like, listen, you're gonna be done with this, and then we're gonna live like a happy family. So and I thought that was pretty cool. Like I really like their story out of all. So you know what, Malibu Rising, I feel like is if those, so Camilla and, was it Billy? I think it's Billy, yeah. So Malibu Rising, that's kind of how, what reminds you of like in the parents of the Rivera family. So Mickey, he's the famous singer, but the wife, she's at home with these kids, and he's out on the road fighting temptation. Yeah, very much given that. And I don't know, I like stories like that because it's like, it's given so it's like that, and if they have 4 kids, and the 4 kids are like doing stuff. So she has always kind of has like some of the similar elements in her book so far that we've read. So it's Daisy Jones and the Six. Kristen's already talked about it in depth in some of our previous videos. So, but I finally read it, enjoyed it. I would give it 5 stars. I'll give 4 stars. Can't be giving out 5 stars just willy nilly. Right. I'm just playing. But no, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like Taylor Jenkins Reid, she's getting up there. I think she's one of my favorite authors right now. Like one of my favorite like modern authors, if you will, like of this time. So So go ahead and read Malibu Rising. It does. I'm waiting for it. It's on hold. They are surfers. I know it was because Malibu Rising, like, it has to be surfing. But I know it was surfing. That's not the main story. Anyway, but it's on hold. I'm waiting for it. All right. So the last book I read was. She got the book, y'all. Yeah, I got the book. I didn't read the book, so y'all don't be that impressed. I still got it on audio. At this point. Like I said, what have we become? So that's Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. So look at that cover. Look at that. I just enjoy the text and just the Mexican elements, and just what is this going on. So the cover very much drew me in, and I will tell you, I really did not know what this book was about, because the cover made me think, and the title made me think it was about something completely different. It's giving me magic. Something. Right? No, none at all. Wow. I don't know why I thought this was a fantasy-based book or a magical realism book or something like that. I don't know why I thought that. Like I said, the title and the cover. See, but you got the same kind of vibe. So no, it's not about that at all. Not about nothing magic. Not about nothing magical at all. So,
So Dante and Aristotle are the two main characters. Basically, it focuses on Aristotle. They live in El Paso, Texas. They're both like young adults. So it's a coming of age story of these two Mexican American teen boys and how they met and how their friendship blossomed and bloomed, and they discovered various things about themselves and about each other. So Aristotle is very much a loner. He's very much tough. Like, he fights all his battles physically, verbally, whatever way he needs to. He just likes to be left alone. Dante is very much, I guess, more the sensitive one and really likes to do those, like, he likes to be around his parents. He likes to do those things that someone would call, I guess, softer. So they meet one summer because Aristotle, his parents told him to go swim, and Dante offered to help him. He didn't know how to swim, but Dante offered to help him swim, and from there they connected and just really built this really kind of invaluable friendship. So I will say for the themes in this book, for the language, the storytelling, I really actually enjoyed this book. It didn't have that magic I thought, but it didn't really have any oomph. I will say that it's not really an exciting story. It is entertaining in that it just follows these two boys' journey. It's kind of poetic. It almost gives me the vibe. It's not written in poetry, but it almost gives me that same vibe of like Poet X, where it's like them grappling with their teenage angst, they're grappling with their conflict and feelings and things like that. And then there are some LGBTQ themes as well, as both of them discover their sexuality in different ways. So yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I think it's a great like coming of age story, but it, like I said, it was not at all what I expected. But considering that, I really enjoyed it. So boom.
Okay, so
and that's it. What we reading. All right, so let's talk about that. What you got?
Oh, how many actually books listed, but I'll throw something else in there because y'all know I say I'm gonna read something and then
she gonna read them 2 books and that's it.
Excuse you. No, I'm not gonna read these 2 because this one is in forever. So I'm definitely gonna read Rich People Problems, the last installment in the Crazy Rich Asians series by Kevin Kwan. And I actually had it available, but I was reading Life After Death, which I probably should have read that one. But so yeah, that's definitely on the list. I want to get that out the way and finish it. Is that the last book in the series, y'all? Let me know.
I think it is. I think we had this conversation.
No, because what about Sex and Vanity?
I don't think it's part. If it is, don't read it. It had like a 3.35.
Not read it.
Like, it had a really bad rating on Goodreads anyway. All right, so one of the books I'm going to read, I tried to read it several times last year. I tried, but things happened. I didn't read it. And what makes me pick it back up this year? It's about to be a show on Hulu. And that is 9 Perfect Strangers by Liane Moriarty. She's one of those guilty pleasure authors where the stories are really surface. There is like some undersurface tones, but for the most part, they're really like gossipy, salacious, like really kind of like that, like kind of effect, that shock and awe that effect with her writing. So it's about 9 strangers that go to these, I don't know if it's 9, just 9, but it's like these people who go to this resort and stuff happens. They discover things about themselves and each other. One of those. She does a really good job of kind of providing different perspectives. So I'm really excited to read it. Okay. Boom. What's your other?
So my other book I'm going to read is The Searcher by Tana French. Still don't know what that's about, but I'm waiting on it. Like,
how you not know what it's about? I told you what it's about.
What is it about?
This retired cop. I read it. You read it? That's the one I said I was disappointed in.
Oh yeah, but I'm waiting for it because it's on my
she don't be listening when I talk, y'all.
I do. I just be forgetting.
No, read it though.
I am. I'm
I
waiting
need another
for it.
opinion.
It's got lots of weeks left on it, but like 3, so I feel like it'll become available soon. I want to read a Tana French book, and I'm gonna read like the Broken Harbor and stuff. Did you finish Broken Harbor?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna read that too, but I want to read something else by her, so that's on my list.
Do the
like,
Witch
for this
Elm.
month.
Try that again.
No.
I heard that one was like way better than The Searcher. Like even though they both have that kind of slow burn vibe.
Read hours of that book. I wasn't halfway through, but almost, and I don't know what it's about.
Okay.
All I know is that a man got beat up, and he don't know why.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, he got like really like mugged, like beat up real bad in his apartment, and he is yelling at his mom. It's so I'm like, your mom didn't do nothing.
Well,
to
never
you.
mind. All
I'll
right.
probably finish it one day, but.
So, the next book I plan to read is one I've had since the top of the year. Whenever it came out, I used my Audible credit, and that is The Loss Apothecary by Sarah Penner. I honestly don't know what it's about, but I've seen it circulating. Right, I've seen it circulating on Goodreads and circulating on Instagram. So yeah, I thought it seemed like something. I mean, apothecary, that gives me like stuff I like. I like apothecary. So why not? So I'm gonna read that. You got another one?
So the last one I'm probably gonna read is because my friend was reading it, and it's called Parable of the Brown Girl. The subtitle is The Sacred Lives of Girls of Color. I don't know if it's like a novel or if it's like a nonfiction or like a short story type of thing, but it's by, I want to say, Christy Lauren Adams, and she said it's really good and she relates to it a lot. So I'm gonna check it out. I'm not sure what it's about, but yeah,
Okay.
The Parable of the Brown Girl. That's what it's called.
Well, I have 2 more. I guess I should have went first. So these 2 will likely be available within the next couple of weeks for me, according to my Libby app, and that is The Other Black Girl by Zakiya, Dalila. I'm gonna mess it up. Dalila Harris. There we go. I honestly really don't know what it's about. Now that I think about it, but I have seen it circulating as well. That's one I've really just the title drew me in, and it's on somebody's book list, Good Morning America or Jenny's, one of them people. So definitely wanted to check it out. I mentioned it in one of our previous videos. It's a book I wanted to check out. I'm one of those people, sometimes I don't need to know the synopsis to want to check something out. Is that weird? Anyway,
no, I like that too.
And the other one I got, or that will be available within the next couple of weeks, is One of Us is Liane by Karen M. McGinnis. Karen M. McManus. I think that's how you say her name. I can't recall. This book has been out for some time. It's a series now, and I really can't recall. I used to know what it was about, but I can't recall. But I've always wanted to read it. It gives me that like young adult, Pretty Little Liars. Something happens, and somebody isn't being honest about it, and it's one of those kind of scandalous young adult books. So yeah, I wanted to read it for some time, so I'm finally gonna check it out. So that's what I will be reading for August. Oh my God, it's August.
I know it is. It basically is August. That's freaking crazy. This year is flying.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys are reading. Let us know any thoughts on the books we've mentioned here today, especially
read,
Life After Death.
Yeah, please tell me like what y'all thought, how y'all felt about it, because I don't know how to feel about it. But yeah.
Well, like this video, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll be back next time. Bye.